You are sitting in a cave with the women and infant kids of your tribe. It's 40,000 years ago. The fire has burned down to embers. Somewhere out in the dark, near the mouth of the cave, a hungry cave lion is searching for food. It catches your scent from far away. Human flesh. Slow, weak, easy. You see it coming. And here's the problem. You don't have a gun. You don't have a knife. You don't even have a bow. You don't have the strength to fight it. You have no claws. You have no fangs. Your teeth couldn't break skin if your life depended on it. And right now, it does. So how did we survive? Today, humans dominate this planet. Wherever we go, every predator on Earth backs away. Nothing hunts us. Nothing dares. But that's not how it always was. For millions of years, humans were not the hunters. We were the hunted. We were prey, chased and torn apart by predators that had spent millions of years evolving one single skill: bringing down large, powerful animals. This is the story of how the weakest, softest, slowest predator on the savannah became the one thing every other predator learned to fear. Let's meet the things that were trying to kill our ancestors. Because before we talk about how we survived, you need to understand exactly what we were up against. 11-inch canine teeth, 600 pounds of muscle. Built like a tank, with a bite designed for one purpose: piercing straight through the throats of bison and camels in a single strike. It didn't chase. It didn't need to. It ambushed. It waited in silence, and when the moment came, it exploded out of hiding and closed the gap at nearly 30 meters per second. One leap, and it was already on top of you, using its body weight to pin you to the ground before the bite even landed. Then those 11-inch blades did the rest. A human being had no answer to that kind of ambush. No warning, no time to run, just silence, and then teeth. Forget the scavenger stereotype. The cave hyena that lived alongside early humans was a pack hunter, and pack hunters are the deadliest kind because they don't fight fair. A single cave hyena had a bite force strong enough to crack open bone. Not soften it, not dent it. Crack it clean through to get at the marrow inside. Now imagine that jaw strength multiplied by a pack of 8 or 10. Working together, taking turns exhausting their prey until it had nothing left. Early humans weren't just fighting an animal. They were fighting a coordinated unit that had been refining its teamwork for hundreds of thousands of years. We hadn't figured that out yet. They already had. Now picture something that could stand over 11 feet tall on its hind legs, with a stride so long it could outrun a modern racehorse in short bursts. The short-faced bear wasn't built to stalk. It didn't need finesse. It ran its prey down in open terrain, using raw, terrifying speed. And when it caught up, it didn't need to wrestle. One swipe from a limb built like a battering ram was enough to end things. There was no tree tall enough to climb away from this thing. No sprint fast enough to outrun it. If a short-faced bear decided you were dinner, your only real hope was that it changed its mind. Heavier, stronger, and far more powerful than the wolves we know today, dire wolves hunted in coordinated packs across open plains. And they had one advantage that terrified every prey animal that ever crossed their path: endurance. A dire wolf pack didn't need to catch you in the first 10 seconds. They would simply follow, and follow, and follow for miles, until your body gave out before theirs did. Early humans, slow and exposed on open ground, were exactly the kind of prey that endurance hunters like this were built for. Every time your ancestors needed water, and they needed it every single day, they had to walk to a river, a lake, a watering hole. And crocodiles knew it. They had learned, generation after generation, that the water's edge was where the easiest meals arrived on schedule. No chase required, just patience, and a bite force capable of crushing bone in an instant, followed by a death roll that made escape essentially impossible once you were in its jaws. Water, the one resource every human needed to survive, was also one of the deadliest places on Earth to be. So take a step back and look at that list. Ambush predators, pack hunters, endurance hunters, apex reptiles. Every single hunting strategy nature had ever invented was pointed directly at early humans. And we had none of the tools evolution normally hands out to survive it. No claws, no fangs, no armor, no raw speed, no raw strength. By every rule nature had written up to that point, we should not have made it. So what did we have? Fire is where everything changes. No predator on Earth, not the saber-tooth, not the cave hyena, not the short-faced bear, had ever evolved a defense against fire. Because nothing before us had ever controlled it. The moment early humans learned to keep flames burning through the night, the cave stopped being a trap and became a fortress. Predators that could smell a sleeping human from hundreds of meters away would stop dead at the edge of the firelight. Not because they were scared of the flame itself, necessarily, but because every instinct in their body had never encountered anything like it. And instinct says, unknown things that hurt you when you touch them are not worth the meal. Fire also gave us something else predators never counted on: cooked meat. Cooking meant more calories from the same amount of food, which meant more energy for something that was about to become the most important weapon we ever built: the brain. Here's something almost no other animal on the planet can do: throw an object with speed and accuracy. Chimpanzees can throw, but clumsily, without real power. Human shoulders, though, evolved a very specific kind of flexibility, a spring-loaded rotation that let our ancestors sling a sharpened stick hard enough and far enough to kill from a distance most predators had never had to plan for. Think about what that changes. A saber-tooth's entire strategy depended on one thing: closing the gap before you knew it was there. But a spear, thrown from 20 feet away, erased that advantage completely. For the first time in the history of this planet, a prey animal could hurt a predator before the predator ever got close enough to use its teeth. No single early human could beat a cave lion. Nobody's arguing that. But early humans didn't live as individuals. They lived in tight, cooperative groups, and groups changed the entire equation. A lone hyena thinks in terms of one target. A pack of 6 humans, all screaming, all throwing rocks and spears at once, all moving in coordinated directions, that's not one confused target anymore. It's chaos from every angle at once. Predators are wired to hunt animals that panic and scatter alone. They are not wired to process 10 different threats converging on them simultaneously. Cooperation didn't just help us fight. It broke the predator's entire playbook. Here's a stat that sounds unbelievable until you understand the biology behind it. A human being on a hot day can literally outlast almost any 4-legged predator on Earth in a long-distance chase. Not in speed, in endurance. Most predators cool themselves by panting, which means they physically cannot sprint and cool down at the same time. They overheat fast and have to stop. Humans, though, cool themselves through sweating across nearly our entire bare-skinned body, which means we can keep moving and keep cooling for hours. Add in our upright posture, our long legs, our springy tendons built almost like natural elastic. And early humans developed something called persistence hunting. Pick a target, follow it, not fast, just relentlessly, hour after hour in the heat of the day, until its body simply shuts down from heat exhaustion.
That's right. The same trick predators used against us, we eventually turned around and used against them. This is the real weapon. Every predator on that list we just went through had a body built by millions of years of evolution.
For exactly one job: killing. Humans didn't get that. What we got instead was a brain built for something rarer: solving problems that had never existed before. We didn't evolve armor. We invented it. Animal hide wrapped around the body. We didn't evolve claws. We invented sharper ones, out of flint, out of bone, tied to the end of a stick. We didn't evolve night vision. We invented fire, and fire did the job better than any eye ever could. Every advantage a predator has took that species millions of years of genetic trial and error to develop. Every advantage a human being figured out could be invented in a single generation, and then taught to the next one. That is the difference that changed everything. Evolution moves at the speed of genetics. Human ingenuity moves at the speed of a shared idea. And here's the part most people never think about. A cave lion, no matter how many times it fails to catch prey, cannot tell the next generation of cave lions what went wrong. It cannot warn them about a trap, a cliff, a group of humans with spears. Every single cave lion has to learn the hard way, alone, from its own experience. Humans could talk, which means humans could warn each other. There's a lion near the eastern watering hole. Don't go near that ridge after dark. Throw the spear at the throat, not the chest. That knowledge didn't die when one person died. It got passed down, generation after generation, growing a little sharper, a little smarter, every single time. We weren't just adapting as individuals. We were adapting as a species, all at once, through nothing but shared words. So picture that same night again. The cave, the fire, the cave lion approaching. Only now, it's not one terrified human with nothing in their hands. It's a group, standing close together near the flames. Spears sharpened and ready, voices raised to sound bigger and more dangerous than they really are. The lion stops at the edge of the light. It doesn't understand fire. It doesn't understand coordinated shouting from 6 directions at once. It doesn't understand that these fragile, clawless, fangless creatures have quietly become something it has never evolved an answer for. And slowly, it turns and walks away. That single moment, repeated across thousands of caves, over thousands of generations, across tens of thousands of years, is the entire story of how humanity clawed its way from the bottom of the food chain to the very top of it. Not with stronger bodies, not with sharper teeth. With fire, with teamwork, with throwing arms, with endurance, with memory passed from parent to child, with brains that refuse to accept the limits our bodies were born with. Here's the part that should genuinely give you chills. Every single predator we just talked about, the saber-tooth, the short-faced bear, the dire wolf, the cave hyena, every one of them is extinct today. Gone. Completely. And human beings? The soft, slow, clawless, fangless creature that every single one of them used to hunt for food? We're still here. Not just surviving. We're the dominant species on the entire planet. We build cities where their hunting grounds used to be. We keep their descendants, the lions and wolves and bears that still exist, in check. Not the other way around. That is not an accident. That is not luck. That is the direct result of the traits we just walked through. Adaptability, cooperation, memory, and the refusal to accept that our bodies were the only tools we had. And honestly, that lesson didn't stop applying 40,000 years ago. It's still exactly how humans survive and win today. Not the strongest person in the room, not the fastest, not the most naturally gifted. It's the ones who adapt, who work together, who learn from what came before them, and who keep pushing past whatever limits they were handed at birth. We weren't born the apex predator of this planet. We built our way there. One fire, one spear, one shared piece of knowledge at a time. So the next time you feel like you're the underdog in a situation, outmatched, outgunned, up against something bigger and stronger than you are, remember this. Every single human being alive today is descended from someone who stood in the mouth of a cave, staring down something that could have killed them in seconds, with absolutely nothing in their hands but a sharpened stick and the people standing beside them. And they made it. Every single time. For tens of thousands of years, they made it. That's the story of where we came from. If this blew your mind, hit subscribe, because we're going deeper into the story of how humans clawed their way to the top of this planet, one video at a time. Let me know in the comments, which one of these predators do you think was the most terrifying to face with nothing but a wooden spear? I'll see you in the next one.